Right, okay, let's get straight to it, shall we? What I will say before we start this tutorial is that it's probably best to have an extra screen if you can muster one up from somewhere. They're not very expensive these days anyway. But as we're doing video stuff, it's good to have a good full screen to send to the client and the voiceover artist and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to do this tutorial with that in mind. First thing to do is set up OBS. So you can download OBS from obsproject.com. It's free as well. And this is what we're going to be using to send our video to our voiceover artists so that they can do voice to picture. And I'm going to show you how to set it up. And how we do that is through these things called scenes. So here are our scenes and we get a default one, and I'm going to set up a couple of different scenes for you so that we can switch between them. So I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to rename this screen 2 because this is going to be with my video. And now what we've got to do is select a source for this scene. So if we go over to sources here, we hit the plus on here and I'm going to select Mac OS screen capture and I'm going to name this screen 2 and press OK. And it's come up with a load of weird stuff here because it's my actual screen and it kind of sort of does a weird video feedback thing. Anyway, don't worry about that. Let's select my second screen, which is this. That's the video there. There we go. That's what we want. So I'm going to OK that, and it's a bit big at the moment. So what we do is we just go up here, grab the corner, resize this to the window, and you see where the darker black screen is there. That's kind of where the video fits. So I'm just going to fit that into the screen there. There we go. That'll do us. So OBS has got like a virtual camera thing. You can see here it says start virtual camera, and that is what it'll be broadcasting out to whoever. So they will see this basically when I set Source Nexus or Zoom or whatever to the virtual camera. Anyway, I'll come on to that later. What we're going to do is we're going to set up another scene. So I'm going to go to the plus thing here, add scene, and I'm going to put screen 2 with cam. So this is going to be if I want to send the video with a little box of me in it as well. And I'll show you how to do that right now. So we're going to go to plus, add source, screen capture, add existing. We'll select screen 2. We've already done that. So I'm going to press plus, and then I'm going to go to video capture device. I'm going to call this cam, press OK, and then I'm going to select my device, which I think might be this Logi 4K Stream Edition. There we go. I'm going to OK that, and then I'm just going to grab this and shrink this one down, and then we can just have a little thing of me there. So that they can see that I'm actually doing something. And then if you see, if I click between these two in the scenes here, or you can press your up and down arrows, you can flick between these two and you can have this as big as you want. Let's just maybe make that a little bit bigger. I don't want to get in the way too much of the voiceover artist. Right, and let's maybe just do another one and call it camera only. And then we'll add a video capture device and we'll go to add existing, put cam, there we go. And that'll just be the camera only. So we've got our screen with cam, camera only, and let's just maybe add another one, screen 1, in case they want to have a look at our door or something boring like that, I don't know. We are going to select the sources as screen capture, and we can call this screen 1, okay. Oh God, all right, screen 1 then, you can have that. And there we go, and that's going to be my main screen there, but that'll all change once we start doing stuff. So there we go. You can flick up and down these with your up and down arrows. Let me just resize this screen 1. Cool. Right, now I've got an extra little thing which I can flick between these with, and it's called a Streamdeck. And it is a magical little piece of equipment. So I'm going to go into my little Streamdeck software thing here. Let's just make that a bit bigger for you. And you can download all sorts of profiles. So it's basically a thing that sits on your desk, and you can just program these buttons to do stuff within certain programs like Pro Tools or OBS or whatever. And you can download an OBS profile if you just click on the marketplace thing here. It'll take you to Elgato Marketplace. You can just go to search, put in OBS, and it'll find it. And then you just download that. Just click the download. I think you have to log in, and you'll get a profile which appears here on the right. And here we go, OBS Studio. What you do is you just grab a scene here and you just put it in any button you want. You go and call this, let's call this screen 2 video, for for example, and then you go into the scene, select screen to video, and then when you press that, oh, let's just maybe split that so we can see that better. And then when you press that button on your Stream Deck, it'll flick to the screen to video, and you can do this for all the others. So we can go to screen 1 and select screen 1 there, and then you can just flick between them. So I'm just going to get rid of those because I've got a profile already set up, as you can see, with all my different cameras. So I've got loads of cameras here, and I've got a little start stop camera button as well. So I think that's an actual button on the OBS profile here. Where is it? There we go, virtual camera. So you just basically drag that virtual camera there, and you just name that start stop button so that you know what it is. So that's how you set up your Stream Deck. And I've got loads of different profiles here for Pro Tools and whatever. And you just select the OBS camera setup here. It'll appear in this little profile section. You can also go to edit profiles just to make sure if it's not working, you select the OBS camera setup and just make sure the application is set to OBS so that it knows what it's looking at. So I think that's everything for the Stream Deck. Next, we're going to go to Pro Tools, and I'm going to show you the session I've got set up. Now, I've done a video on remote audio setup, so I'm not going to go through this again, but I will put a link to that at the end. It's very in-depth, so it will show you exactly how to do this. What I've got in this session is I've got a guide audio track here. So I bought in the video and the guide audio. I've gone to my window and I've selected the video window, and I've moved that to my second screen. So that is broadcasting out of that. I've got the guide audio, which I'm sending to my source Nexus, which is what we're going to be sending to our voiceover artist. And I'm sending it to the Zoom as well. And how I'm doing that is via source Nexus. So I've got my mic channel here again, which I'm sending to the Zoom and the source Nexus so that they can both hear me, so that the client and the voiceover artist can hear me. And my mic is just coming in an aux input. I'm not sending it to an audio track because I'm not recording myself for this session. We're recording a voiceover artist, so we don't need that audio track. So next I've got a Zoom send, which I've got a source Nexus on, and I'm sending that down my source Nexus driver, the Zoom mic, which is going into the Zoom so that everyone can hear me. You can see I'm going out there, and I've also, if I play the guide audio, electrifying, you can see that's coming through as well. And I've got the receive here, the Zoom out, so the Zoom speakers. So I've got this aux here, the input is the Zoom send, and the output is the Zoom receive, which will be going to another aux input, which the input is going to be the Zoom receive, and the output is going to be where I can hear them, which is the VO bus, which is going to my main output. And the Zoom output is going to be going to the source Nexus send so that the voiceover artist can hear the Zoom as well. And next we've got the source Nexus send. Again, I've got a source Nexus. The source Nexus in is being sent there. You can see me going there, and also the guide audio. Coming on to that, you won't hear any text. Okay, and then the receive is the source Nexus out. So that is set to the output of that track, which is going into this source Nexus record track. So I can hear what's coming back, and I'll be recording them. And then that's going to my voiceover bus, which is going to my main output. And I've also got a playback track, which is also going to be sent to the Zoom and the source Nexus so that they can both hear it, so that the client and the voiceover artist can hear it. And this is because if we want to do drop-ins or something like that, then I can play back takes to the client. I can play back the sentence before to the voiceover artist, and then they can just drop in after hearing that. So that is basically it. And like I said, everything's being sent down a voiceover bus, which is an aux input here, which is going to our main output, and that's got all our kind of limiters and whatever on. So that's basically it. Oh, also the guide audio is being sent pre-fader so that we can adjust the level to the client and the voiceover artist. So if I click on the send there, you can see the little floating fader here, and we can adjust that accordingly. If they say it's too loud, we can take it down. And if it's too quiet, we can take it up. And it won't affect what we're hearing because we want that quite low in our ears so that we can hear the voiceover artist that we're recording. There we go. That's the Pro Tools session. So all we've got to do is set up our Zoom, which we've got here. So you can see I'm coming through there on the Zoom mic. And if I test the speaker, that's coming through nicely there. So that's all set up. Video, I'm probably going to send the camera here. And then what I'll do for the Zoom, if we maybe start a meeting, hang on. What I'll do is I'll go to share screen and I'll share my desktop to, there we go, so that they'll get a feed of the video. They're not going to need to see me. So that's how I take care of that. You can set it to the OBS camera. If we go here, we can go OBS virtual camera. And if I go back into OBS and I start virtual camera, let's hide that. You can see Zoom's getting that nice and clear. Right, let's just close that down. So that's all set up and ready to go. Let's just stop that virtual camera for now. And last thing we're going to do is set up Source Nexus. So I've got the Source Nexus page here. It's at nexus.source-elements.com, and then you've got to register, I think, or something like that. Get yourself all set up. I've set my audio. My Source Nexus mic is what is being sent to them, and then what is coming back is the Source Nexus out, which is all set up on my Source Nexus thing. Like I said, I've got a full remote audio tutorial, so I've just kind of skimmed over the audio bit of this. The camera I've set to the OBS virtual camera. So if we go to OBS again, so if I start my virtual camera, and you can see the pictures are coming up here, and if I just flick between my different cameras on the Streamdeck there, you can see everything coming through nicely there. So let's just go back to screen 2. Press OK. And when you've got a voiceover artist connected, the screen will kind of split in two. But this is what they are going to be seeing. And you can see, obviously, I'm coming through there nice and clear. So that is pretty much how to set up Pro Tools with Source Nexus and OBS so that you can do a voice-to-picture session with an external voiceover artist and a client on the line as well. And everyone can hear each other and everyone can see the pictures. So isn't that nice? Anyway, I will upload this little mini template to my Patreon, which you can go to patreon.com/thewavelad and subscribe to that. And there's loads of free stuff on there you can grab. And I'll put links to all the bits and bobs that you'll need for this in the description. And do us a favor, like and subscribe, share, and ring the bell icon so you get notified when there's new videos and all that jazz. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video very soon.